also don't just hit 500 balls without a thought.
Welcome to Earned Not Given.
All right, so I was told this morning when we decided we were going to do a U.S. Open preview podcast that golf's boring, and I'm boring, and I'm not funny. So I tried to bring in somebody that's not boring, maybe kind of funny, definitely more enjoyable to listen to and talk to than I am. So today our special guest on the podcast is the one and only
Liliana.
There she is. So Liliana's in the house. All right, guys. So this week, Casey and I are going to talk about the U.S. Open and what makes Pinehurst such an incredible and iconic venue. We're going to give you our predictions. We're going to talk about it. But all jokes aside, we did want to bring Liliana in because I think given a different perspective on why she sometimes enjoys watching golf or why sometimes golf's boring. So do we want to start with us talking about the U.S. Open or you talking about why golf's boring?
I'll start.
Okay, you start. Go ahead.
First of all, golf is boring because you can't talk. Boring. You can't do anything, and all they do is wee. But some golfers like Bryson DeChambeau make it sometimes fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's a great place to start. Bryson does make golf more fun, and this week, I don't know about you, Casey, but I'm Team Bryson all the way this week. I know we'll get into the architecture of the golf course and what makes Pinehurst special, but if I could just pluck one player out of the field to have win, it would definitely be Bryson.
Yeah, my knowledge of the Pinehurst golf course, funny enough, is through Riggs and the foreplay guys on the matches that they've played there, specifically against Kiz. And obviously that was not up to U.S. Open standard, right? Like they were just normal conditions for Pinehurst. So my big, like, I guess, thing with Bryson is he going to keep it in play? Is he going to drive it far and straight? Because when he does that, like we saw at PGA, I mean, he's really, really close to being unbeatable. So I don't know. And then the greens are insane. So what's the putting going to be like for him? You know, he's very he's got his methods, I'll put it that way. I don't want to call him nerdy and all that stuff, but are they going to pan out this week? And if they do, he's got to be a favorite, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you look at the betting odds, and we'll pull that up here in a second, but Scotty's like plus 300, sure, which is ridiculous, right? And then you've got Xander and Rory up there, but when you look at Pinehurst, it's not a difficult driving golf course, right? The fairways are very wide, so it's not going to be a ton of challenge for these guys off the tee. It's a second shot golf course, very, very extreme at times, right? There's a chance that we're going to see it get burnt out. There's a chance that we're going to see some hole locations that people are saying are just unfair and impossible. But this week, someone that wins will have had an amazing short game and putted very, very well. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the best players are going to emerge in the U.S. Open.
How are they going to do it? It's so hot out.
What do you mean?
Like, it's like how, like just sitting right here is like very hot. Like, how are they going to play golf?
Yeah, well, they're not here in Orlando, Florida. They're in Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Tiger did bring up the fact that it's hot and humid there and that he said it reminds him of playing at home. So, honestly, Liliana might be onto something there. I mean, Tiger says it feels comfortable for him, and we don't have to go into the whole Tiger spiel. We've done it many times this year. But it is interesting because this will probably be the first major where he's going to really feel comfortable weather-wise and hopefully body-wise for, again, hopefully 4 rounds. So that's interesting to me. I wonder if a guy like him or not necessarily an older guy, but I call it a summer of some of those, you know, the Rorys, the Spieths. I wonder if we see that emerge this week. I mean, Rory seems pretty damn confident at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like some of the stuff off the golf course has kind of resolved itself. So maybe this is an opportunity for it to be a week for Rory. I don't think it's going to be a week for Rory. I think it's going to be a week for a player that you see emerge, right? If you look at someone like Xander, never finished outside the top 10 in his U.S. Open career, which is pretty amazing, right? You look at someone like Bryson, T6 at Augusta, second place at the PGA.
Right there.
Like we're on track to see something amazing. Colin Morikawa started to play great. Someone like a Max Homa could definitely emerge. But, you know, Joe Mayo made the trip with Victor. Victor's getting better. It's a short game opportunity to showcase what him and Joe did last year. I'd be hard-pressed not to have my top 3 guys this week be Bryson, Victor, and Max Homa.
We're still staying with the agreement that we're not picking Scotty. That's just a...
I mean, if that's what you want to do, we definitely can.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious pick would be Scotty. But, yeah, my 3, at the moment, as I sit here, I do like Bryson. I like Xander. I want to bring in a wild card for the third one, though. I want to bring in, like... Who's a wild card that could be a... I mean, I'm still hung up on Keegan Bradley. I don't know why that name keeps coming back to me, why I keep going with him. Although he did play good the week that I picked him.
He did.
You know what? I'll roll with Keegan.
Okay. So Liliana's picks are going to be a little bit more challenging because I'm not sure she knows 3 golfers' names. But we're going to start here with who do you think is going to win the U.S. Open at Pinehurst?
I definitely want Bryson to win, but I think maybe Rory McIlroy or Max Homa could win.
Nice. So we're keeping that Max Homa pick in the family. You got Rory up there. I like it. So Liliana's going Bryson, Rory McIlroy, and Max Homa. I'm going Bryson, Colin Morikawa, and Max Homa. I really do want Victor, but I think Colin's going to get it done.
Yep. Colin's been trending. Really nice to see him and Rick back together.
Yeah.
Selfishly because he was on our podcast, so that's just
Yeah.
awesome. But also, you could tell just listening to him in the pod, like they were close. They had a good relationship.
Yeah.
And it really worked out for him in their run. So it's just nice to see him back together and him playing well.
Yeah. And I think golf, since the last time we had a major championship, golf's had some amazing opportunities to showcase. On the women's side, the U.S. Women's Open was fantastic. You look at some of these most recent victories. You look at some of the tragedies that have been incurred over the years, and I just think that this year and this U.S. Open is an opportunity for someone to really step up and do something amazing. And obviously, Grayson's going to be in all of our thoughts, so I do think there is a chance that someone really close to Grayson Murray emerges as the U.S. Open champion.
You know, I texted you the day that, you know, the news dropped and stuff, and just with how busy it's been here at the academy the last couple of weeks, I haven't thought about it much since, but then you said it and it made me think about it. Man, we had that podcast a couple months back about, you know, the Deep podcast, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about a lot of these things in that podcast. And I just think it's important to echo kind of what Harry Higgs was saying after he won on the Korn Ferry Tour that week. It's just, you never know what somebody's going through, and everyone has a chance to make a difference in somebody's day, whether you know the person or not, whether you're at the grocery store, at work, whatever. Like, everyone has a chance to make a difference in somebody's day, and you don't know just by saying hi that could make someone's day. So, yeah, the Grayson stuff kind of messed me up, and thinking about it again today it's always good to have the perspective, though.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change my pick just based on that conversation.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I don't think that Max Homa is going to get it done, but I'm going to go Bryson, Colin Morikawa, Harry Higgs.
Yeah, I like that. I hope he gets it done, too. That'd be an incredible story.
All right, and now Liliana's giving me that face like not only is golf boring, but this podcast is boring. So let's ask you some quick fire questions if you're cool with that. Are you cool with that? So
As long as I get to tell a story after.
absolutely. You want to start with a story? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a quick pause from the quick fire, and she's going to tell a story. So here we go.
Well, this morning my dad got his hair cut. I don't know if you guys noticed at all. And, well, we went to this new coffee restaurant nearby, Dutch Bros. And these girls kept on looking at my dad and saying, "Wow, I like your bracelets." and saying, "You want to go play Mario Kart sometime?" And I was kind of starstruck. I'm like, why are these girls rizzing with my dad? Rizzing means like trying to get with him. And well, that was not the best move because, well, the child was in the car. Hopefully the mom wasn't. And well, that was not a good idea.
I think what my daughter said is that I've still got it. I'm pretty sure that's what we were just talking about. So let's now realize that Marla, who's probably never watched an episode of this podcast, will probably now watch and hear that this is what happened at Dutch Bros this morning. Not
Also,
a sponsor of the pod yet, but maybe
say
they will
we'll take
become
a
a
sponsorship.
So talk to us. You obviously aren't a golfer, but you love sports. You're good at sports. What do you think's gonna be the thing, or the trait, or the attribute of the winner this week? Like, what is someone gonna have to do mentally or inside their own brain this week to win?
What I've learned from doing many sports, you have to believe you can do it before. If you feel like you can't do it, you're not going to do it. But if you do, you can. And you got to be able to think like positive. And even if you hit like a double bogey or something, you can still come back.
That's amazing. So when you think positively, right? We obviously all have a desire to see a great tournament, right? And Pinehurst typically is known as a very hard golf course. The U.S. Open is typically the most grueling test of golf. It's supposed to test every skill that a player has. And you're saying to stay positive. What does that look like? How do you root for a player? Is it because they're showing emotion, or they're walking down the fairway very calm? What do you tend to like from a player?
Well, when I do watch golf, not that often, but when I do, I usually look for people who celebrate like good, like when they do a good shot, and not like frustrated when they hit a bad shot. That's what I think of thinking positive. And if you do hit a bad shot, they don't get frustrated, and they just keep on going. Nice.
And I hope maybe some of the players will listen to that, but maybe all of us can start to think about, right? Liliana at her age and watching golf, it's about feeling excited. And I hope that this week Pinehurst creates the drama that we want. Obviously, we all enjoy sometimes seeing the carnage from a U.S. Open and seeing people putt it off the green and have some issues. But I also hope that it has a lot of that drama and that flair that we got in the final round of the PGA Championship, because that's what allowed us to watch golf together. It wasn't that it was someone running away with it. It was that we didn't know who was going to win till the last second. And I hope that's what we have this week. How is Bryson making golf more fun for you?
Bryson's making more golf fun for me because I like seeing how he's positive and doesn't mind like a bad shot, and he's just really positive all the time. And like, I don't know enough about like golf courses and stuff, but I think if you can overcome one thing, you can overcome a lot of other things.
Nice. Love that. What do you got for us, Casey?
Yeah, I think I've been pretty vocal in this podcast about Bryson DeChambeau and what I think he's doing for golf and how I think he's probably the most influential person in golf currently. And Liliana's a great example of that because she doesn't watch golf. Yeah. But when she watches Bryson, she actually kind of enjoys it when normally she wouldn't. And that's what golf needs, and Bryson should be applauded for that. He's obviously an incredible golfer. He's won the U.S. Open before at a very tough track, by the way.
Yeah.
I hope he does it again this week because golf would win again.
Yeah, and I hope everybody goes in and checks out his YouTube channel where he's playing with Hickory clubs in the old school outfit, and he's just doing the right thing to make golf not only interesting, but also paying homage to the history of the game. He's talking about, you can see with Johnson Wagner, him talking about the roll and bulge on the face of his 5-iron and what he's doing, and his 3D printed golf clubs. And I just really hope that this week Bryson walks away as the champion because he's energetic, he's positive, he makes it fun, And also, there's always been this little, I wonder if his short game is good enough kind of mystique about him. And if he emerges as the champion at Pinehurst, we can put that concept to rest.
Look, I know the winged foot win, everyone talks about he just hit it as hard and far as he could, and whether it was in the rough or not, he didn't care because he was hitting it so far. But you have to think about what he was doing. Yeah, he was hitting it the wedge distance, but you still have to wedge it on those greens. You still have to be able to make the putts. You still, when you miss the greens, have to be able to get it up and down. And he did that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you. This would be a great stamp on, if the first one wasn't enough to stamp that his short game is up there with the best of them, he wins this week. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome to watch. Hopefully everybody tunes in. The last thing that I want to do for predictions, so we're gonna put our picks up. We'll maybe put Liliana's up there because she's been such a generous guest here on the pod. But also I want to predict score. So when we go back and we look at when Martin Keimer won the last time the U.S. Open was played in Pinehurst, he ran away with it. I'm gonna say the winning score is 8 under.
So I don't know this course, but after hearing what my dad said, I'm going to say it's 10 under.
Both of you are kind of low for what I think. I'm gonna say it's at 5 under, and the reason I say that is because of the course itself, but also I just have this feeling the USGA is out on a mission after last year. I don't think they want it to be very low scoring at all. I know that 8 or 10 still for the modern game is low. I just think it's going to be brutal. I'm going to go with 5 under, and I think that might even be too low.
Yeah, and I think that's what they talked about, right? When Martin won, he shot 9 and kind of ran away with it. When you look at some of the scores, right, one of the prominent amateur events throughout the year is the North-South Amateur. It's played on 2 of the golf courses, and they play number 2 for the match play, but also in stroke play. And these college kids are tearing it up. Mm-hmm. And yes, the USGA is going to make it harder. Yes, there's going to be this entire mystique around, oh, look at this runoff and look at where the ball finishes. Let's not forget, we're talking about the best players in the world, and to shoot 8 under is not hard. Yep. To just go 3 under, then 3 under in what? 2 under on the weekend? Or you're going to go 4 under round 1, even par, and drop a little 4 under in the last round. I think it's going to be great.
I will say in my prediction, that's what I think, but I hope I'm wrong because I actually like when guys go low. I think it's more fun. I'd rather see birdie golf than par or bogey golf. So I hope I'm wrong, but that's just where my gut is at the moment. So
yeah, awesome. Well, we hope everybody enjoys the U.S. Open. It's one of those iconic events at one of the most iconic golf courses that everyone in the world can play. It's always fun to see the USGA do that, where they host these events at places where people can come and play. And if you haven't done a trip to Pinehurst, you really do need to experience it because it's not just number 2 that it's amazing. They have so many great golf courses that the entire town is just built around golf. By no means is it the Bandon Dunes of the East Coast. It's probably just a golfer's paradise and a great place to go. So if you haven't done a trip to Pinehurst, do it. And hopefully the next time you go there, there'll be Bryson's picture hanging on the wall. You want to take us out here? So usually at the end of this podcast, we try and say something clever, witty, or wrap it up. So we've talked about all of what witty. Witty, like your dad's humor,
You don't have any of that.
Okay, so is that how we want to close with I don't have any humor, or would you like to close with another story about how ladies were trying to pick me up?
I'll close with another story.
Okay, here we go.
So I may only be 11 years old, but I experienced a lot. Like my dad being very, very, very annoying. And well, there's a few stories I could tell, but right now, I'm going to tell the story about how he is so annoying.
All right.
Well, first of all, my dad is annoying because he keeps on thinking that he's the goat of everything. And he thinks that the smallest little things are funny. Like, let's go fish and bowl. Like, how is that funny? Like, and like, he got this haircut today. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's like a flap.
Mm.
It's interesting. And well, my dad's also annoying because, well, he doesn't think about the people out of the dust. He doesn't think that other people can do things. He always thinks the same people can win and the same people do the same things every time. But people can change.
All right. I like it. So who do we think is going to change? Because who can come out of nowhere and win? Are we saying that the ambulance is going to go for 72 holes around and just let Tiger jump out the back and take the stretcher onto the green? Is Tiger winning the U.S. Open?
No.
Okay, so who is coming out of the dust to win?
I think Ricky Fowler might come out of the dust.
Okay, I like it. That's a fair point. There's this guy that really likes Ricky Fowler over here, and he's probably really proud of you. He's also the same guy who told me that the current Open champion is a long shot. And this could be a golf course for his long shot, Brian Harman. But we're going to close it with our picks one last time. I'm going Bryson, Colin Morikawa, Harry Higgs.
I'm going Bryson, Ricky Fowler, and Roy McIlroy.
I'm feeling inspired by the Ricky pick.
Wow.
Problem is, I know that I watch a little more than Liliana, and
Yeah.
I follow Ricky a little more
Yeah.
closely. I'm not going to pick Ricky, but I'm actually going to change Bryson since you all have him. I do want him to win. I'll put him in my Scotty Scheffler category this week for me.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Keegan. I'm going to go with Rory. And I'm going to go with... We want somebody out of the dust, right?
We're not one of the three of us is picking Xander Schauffele.
No. I don't know if this... he already won his major this year.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to go again. I'm down to be wrong. I'm going to go out of the dust. I'm going to go JT. I'm going to go Justin Thomas.
Nice. I like it. Well, guys, hopefully what you take from this podcast is that I have an amazing haircut that my daughter doesn't really like. I'm super annoying and still got it a little bit. But most of all, the important thing is when people watch athletes play, they want to see that attitude and they want to see that energy and they want to see that positivity, as Liliana said. So whether it's this platform or you're a professional athlete and you have the biggest platform in the world, remember that kids like Liliana tune in. So the way that you react, the way that you carry yourself, it either influences the next generation to look at you in a certain way, or it inspires the next generation to try and have the opportunity to do what you do. So I hope that you guys take some positivity out of this. I hope that you guys don't find me as annoying as my daughter. We're going to close this podcast because I am going to absolutely dominate her in some Mario Kart. So thank you guys. Appreciate the pod.